Aloha kako! Mahalo nui for listening my podcast, Hula and Talk. My name is Kauanoeanuhea, and all I talk on this podcast is based on something my kumu shared with me or my research. As Hawaiian didn't have written language earlier, many things still uncertain. So my podcast sometimes contain the information it's not sure. If you have better understanding or a different opinion, please send me DM by Instagram, Twitter, or comments from my website. My Instagram account is Kauanoeanuhea0410. My Twitter is searchable as Kauanoe's Hula Studio. My website is kauanoeshulastudio.com without apostrophe. I would highly appreciate your opinion. I would like to talk about one of the Mo'olelo, which is written on the book Hawaiian Legends of Dreams. So the story name is Hidden Spring of Punahou. What is the meaning of the Punahou? So Punahou means new spring. So that's the story is that a couple is finding a new springs. There was a married couple. The husband named Macaca, wife named Kealoha. They were having a hard time since there had been no rain for a long time and the local spring had dried up. Kealoha had to walk far away to go water every day. Her husband Macaca had to go deep into Manoa Valley to gather food. He usually found tea leaves, roots, fern, and wild yams. One day, Kealoha was walking to home from Pu'uo Manoa, which was so far away from her house, while carrying two heavy ipu that were filled with water. She was so tired and really hoped that the god Kane, who was spiritually linked with fresh water and was able to find water from dried, rocky earth with his water-seeking staff, was here. On that time, suddenly, the wind blew and purple stung her eyes. She nearly dropped her precious ipu. Some water spilled out, and the dirty, thirsty land drank it up. She was so exhausted. Carefully sat down and felt her frustrated tears swelled up. She said, "How long will my husband and I have to live like this? I wish there were a spring close to our house." There was still a long walk back to her home. She stood up, even though her shoulder and back aches really hard, and she started walking again. At the same time, Macaca was deep in the Manoa Valley to get something to eat. Due to the lack of the rain, their garden has not been producing any food. When Kealoha got home, Macaca wasn't home yet. While she was waiting him to get home, she fell asleep and began dreaming. In her dream, there was a man who was standing close to her head and asked her, "Why do you have to travel so far for water?" She answered, "Because all the water from streams or springs dried out." The man said to her, "Hevaino, it means there is water." According to him, there is a fresh spring just behind her house under a hala tree. After he told her that, he disappeared. Kealoha woke up and thought it must be a message from the god Kane. She went to check the hala tree which was behind her hale. The hala tree had been growing there long before Kealoha and Macaca had moved there. She was making low hala mat and a basket out of the hala leaves. She She appreciated the hala tree. Thank you for always helping us. Her husband Macaca came home and was looked for Kealoha. He found her at the backside of their hale in front of the hala tree. He asked her, "What's wrong?" She told her about the dream and said, "The god Kane heard us and answered our prayers." He looked at the hala tree and the area's root deeply grounded on the dry compounded land. He shook his head and said, "You hoped this thirst to be relieved and saw the dream, but it won't come true." And he walked away. She said to herself that he might be right after she saw that hard-packed earth beneath it. Macaca cooked food and they ate it in silence. So as an additional information, in the old time of Hawaii, it was the men's duty to cook food. And women's duty was more to pound the kapa. So cooking imu is more likely the job of the men's. So women doesn't do anything with the cooking on that time. At night, Macaca fell asleep and he saw a dream. In the dream, a man was standing right next to him and he asked him, "Why you don't listen to your wife?" Macaca said, "I am too old to pull out the hala tree." Then the man told him to catch some redfish and wrap the fish in tea and broil them. Macaca woke up with excitement and said, "I had the same dream with Kealoha. It must be true. There was a message from Kane." Macaca went to fishing, pulled his canoe to the ocean. When he reached his fishing point, he prepared his net to catch some fish. As soon as he dropped the net to the water, he caught some fish. He pulled out the net and found out it was some fish called kumu, red goldfish. "This is another sign from the god," he said, and went back to hale. Macaca made the fire and wrapped the kumu fish with tea leaves. He roasted the fish and made his offering of kumu fish. He prayed to the Kane, the god of spring. "Please give me a strength to pull out the hala tree." He ate some fish and felt his power and strength rising up. He stood in front of the hala tree and spoke to the tree. "Thank you for helping our life. Thank you for all of your gifts as we made baskets or bedding out of your leaves." He embraced the trunk of a hala tree. Then he prayed to his aumakua and Kane for their help. He felt all the muscles of his body are getting stronger and also the hala tree itself start rising up. The roots came off from ground one by one and he could successfully pull the hala tree out. He let it lay down on the side and he recognized the water filled the hole where the hala tree was. Kealoha had just came back to the hale. She screamed, "Ka punaho!" They talked about what they can do with this spring. They made the hole bigger so that it becomes a pond. They made a loikalo to grow taro. They share the water with neighbors. They never suffer from thirst and hunger again. So the Punaho school now stands where the spring was. So in a Hawaiian Mo'olelo, there is always a message in the stories. And what is this stories about? And in a Hawaiian Mo'olelo, the ancient time of the people who wanted us to carry the knowledge, and that's why they tries to tell the message for us, the future generations. So what is the message about these stories? So I think that the first point is water is very precious. So we need to always appreciate for the waters and then don't waste the waters. And the second is dreams are the sign from the gods. So they are saying there is a God. And then number 3, that is telling us if you believe in something, you can do anything. So that's the things Macaca was trying so hard, but Macaca gave up first. But at the end, he was believing in the God, and he was believing he can do it because of the message from the God, and he could do it. I don't think Halatri came up himself. I think Macaca did it all by himself, but it's just because he believed in himself, and that gave him a power. So like these stories, the Hawaiian Mo'olelo always have that message from the old time of the people, ancient people. So try to think about it and always remind yourself, what do you want for your futures? How do you want to live? You can design your life by yourself. You can live yourself. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed these stories. Mahalo nui for listening my podcast Hula and Talk. My name is Kauanoeanuhea. The background music during the main story was from sensussacred.com by Ambience. If you enjoyed my podcast, please share with your friends and family. And if you have a request or question, please feel free to DM me or contact me through my Instagram, Twitter, and website. Malamapono, ahui ho!